This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the best online retailer for Magic the Gathering singles and sealed product, and GatheringMagic.com, the #1 source for Magic the Gathering news and content.
Hey guys, Marshall here from Limited Resources, and, well, the Cube's back, so we might as well draft it, right? I mean, that's what it's here for. This is on, of course, the Magic Online beta. They've done some updates to it lately, so I'm giving it another shot. It is, after all, going to be our future, and we need to... Well, I want to get used to it. I mean, I don't want to have it be like a huge shock when I end up... when they end up switching it over, whenever that happens. So we're going to give it a shot. It's been holding up pretty well for me. You know, a couple little things like here's a bug, Sorin for some reason isn't showing up, and there's a few little things, but nothing big. I'm going to take a Thran Dynamo out of this pack. I like Shrine of Burning Rage. I like a couple of other cards here too. I like Port. But I think Thran Dynamo is probably just the most simple and powerful. It's also colorless, so it sort of gives us a way to figure out what we want to do as we move forward here. Yeah, all right. Well, some good choices here, actually. There's a Sword of Fire and Ice, a Jace, a Bitterblossom. I mean, I like Thieving Magpie, but it's not really on level with these cards. Martial Coup similar. I'm going to take Bitterblossom here. I like it better than Sword of Fire and Ice, I think. I don't, you know, there's definitely a chance that Sword of Fire and Ice is a better card and a better pick, but I really think Bitterblossom is one of the best cards in the cube. And it's also one of my favorite cards in the cube. There's some cards that are really good, but then I'm kind of like, eh. And but I think Bitterblossom's super fun, super awesome, so I'm going to take it. What do we have? Well, this is kind of an interesting pack. I don't really know what to make of it. I mean, there's some mediocre cards. There's a Go for the Throat, an Undead Gladiator, whatever, Shardless Agent. There's even an Exalted Angel is pretty good. And then there's also just like a reasonable land and a colorless spell to blow up everything with Nevinyrral's Disc. Disc isn't a card I've ever really liked that much. It's okay. Like, it can do things that you need to have done in a certain deck, but I just don't know if we need that quite yet. Plus, it kind of blows up both of the things that we've already picked, which is lame. I guess I'll take a Go for the Throat here. Not really knowing where we're going quite yet. I guess I'll just take another black card that'll probably make the cut. I mean, it's one of the better Doomblades around. There's a few big things it doesn't hit, but it hits almost everything that you really care about. Okay, getting a little more interesting here. There's a Diabolic Servitude, which has a big block of text, but basically it just says, I am a reanimation spell. It has some other stuff that you can do with it and clauses and stuff, but yeah, it's a really good card, and here's a couple of nice ones to bring back. Blood Baron seems really good, but I'm just going to stick with Servitude here and see if we can't make a little Reanimator going here. Thran Dynamo works fine in Reanimator decks. Just having extra mana is always good, and it also gives you the chance to actually just cast some of your big spells multiple turns early. You know, so you have sort of a backup plan in case you don't draw one of your reanimation spells. Generally speaking, the way Reanimator decks work in a cube is, and probably just in general, is that you need some pieces. You need a few pieces together to make it work, and the pieces are namely a reanimation target in the graveyard, so some big fatty that will actually stay in the yard, a reanimation spell like Diabolic Servitude or Reanimate, Necromancy, one of those. And you need a discard outlet. You need a way to get them into the graveyard. That can come through many different ways, and they're all quite good. I'm going to take Student here. Played it before here, and I really like the card. I like it a lot better than Serendib Efreet. Either of these cards would work well in the deck too, but I think Student's high enough on the list that I'd rather take them. But these are both fine, and Nightscape Familiar might even come back and maybe we'll play it. But I like Sakashima Student quite a bit. All right, Bloodgift Demon or Shriekmaw, both quite good. Bloodgift Demon, I feel, is underrated in the non-powered cube. I mean, the thing just starts drawing you a bunch of life. You can even use it to kill your opponent if you get him low enough. I really think it's that good. That said, I'd rather just be alive, and Shriekmaw is actually a really cool reanimation target because against the right deck, you can evoke it on turn 2, kill their threat, and then it sits in the graveyard until you find your Diabolic Servitude or whatever else, and then boom, you get it back and get to kill something again. And against decks that care about that kind of thing, it's pretty tough for them to recover. I don't like Void Mage Prodigy very much. I like Beast Within, but I think I'm just going to take this Firestorm here. You can. It's a discard outlet that lets you do a bunch of damage potentially, so maybe we end up playing it. Headhunter has to hit a player, so that's not it. This is target opponent discards a card. It makes you, when you're trying to draft Reanimator, it makes you look at cards differently. Like if this said, when it enters the battlefield, target player discards a card, well, you're just pointing it at us. You know, that's a thing we can do. Bloodline Keeper is pretty good, although quite slow. I'm actually going to take Ral Zarek here. I mean, if we're going to end up being Grixis anyway, I want to try out Ral Zarek because he could be pretty sweet. Probably just need to take this Temple. We could take Ink Eyes. He's pretty good, but I'm just going to... Ooh, not that one. Yeah, okay, well, I'm just going to misclick and take Port. I actually wanted to take the Temple there, but probably won't end up running Port, but it is possible that we do. But we'll have to see. Yeah, that sucks. I think the Temple would have been better here. The Port... very annoying against us, though, so kind of nice to get it out of the way. I'm going to take City of Brass to make-up call there to try to get our mana back in a better place. Nothing like taking a colorless land when you meant to take a 2-colored land, but I guess we could take a 5-colored land to make up for it. And Port's actually quite good. I mean, it does shut down some important things. One thing that you'll find occasionally in this cube is you'll reanimate some big thing and try to kill your opponent with it, but they'll have a stupid Maze of Ith, and you just can't get around it. Very, very annoying. Yeah, I'll take the disc now. I'm going to put in the board for now. I view it less as a Wrath and more as, because it's very, very slow in that capacity, I view it more as like a problem permanent. Not even permanent, I shouldn't say. Kind of the thing about Nevinyrral's disc is that it's a little outdated in the world of Planeswalkers. It's not quite as relevant as you'd hope. All right, well, I'm going to take this Underground River over Serum Visions. I like Serum Visions, but I do feel a little bit of pressure to pick up more fixing lands here. I want to make sure that our mana is good here, especially after, you know, goof grabbing the Rishadan Port there. So I want to make sure that we're in a good position here. Looks like blue isn't exactly flowing. We got a Sakashima Student about where it should go, and a Ral Zarek about where he should go. So not really sure where we're going yet. I'm going to take a Steam Augury. The others go in your graveyard? Yeah, the other one's going in your graveyard. And it was top 5. An opponent chooses one of those piles. Yeah, so unfortunately they get to pick, but still. Take a Lodestone Golem here. So we're going to be on the lookout for a few things. I mean, look, we want to be Reanimator, so we're going to look for cards that help along those lines. You know, Griselbrand being probably the nuts. But we're also, you know, we can also just be Grixis Control or maybe, you know, whatever, blue-red, blue-black-red, whatever, and just try to kind of control the board too. All right, well, we open quite a powerful pack, kind of an annoying one for us. So this is what we're going to take. We're going to take Demonic Tutor because it will get, remember how I was saying that we need 3 pieces to make our Reanimator deck work? Well, this gets the other piece. This is always a joker for the piece that we don't have. And on top of it, even if we don't end up doing too much Reanimator stuff, like let's say this is the only Reanimator spell we actually get, Tutor's still just the best card in our deck at any given time. But we've also got Kozilek, which is something that we'd love to reanimate, but you can't because he has this clause. And Sunring Titan, which is also something that we'd like to reanimate, but you can, and we just can't really take him here. I mean, we could, but we're not going to take him here because we want this Demonic Tutor. That being said, a lot of good stuff to come back here. Muldrifter, Kega, Cascade Bluffs, even Prophetic Bolt. I would love any of those. So hopefully we get lucky. But we're not gonna pass a D-Toots. Hey! Where you been all my life, Grizzle Bro? Get in here. That's awesome. So we got lucky. We got the best possible Reanimator target, probably. I mean, he's really, really good, and I'm quite happy to have him here. How good is our red right now? Ral Zarek, Steam Augury, Firestorm. Ooh, a little crash. This happens sometimes. Be right back. All right, we're getting back in here. I can look to actually play green if this stupid thing will load fast enough. It didn't. It's so annoying. So we'll keep an eye on that. This was one of the issues that I had with the beta before, and the reason why I went back to version 3 was because it would crash during the draft, and I could never get through a draft. But it started crashing like multiple times and getting really, really annoying. So what I tried to just grab that dual land, but ooh, there's Tinker. Don't think we can really Tinker though. We've got a couple, like we're probably not playing this right now. There's just not that many artifacts running around, and we already passed the stupid Tinker target too, the big Titan. So I think we're going to stay away from Tinker for now. And I think I'm going to take Chainer's Edict. What I'm trying to look at is our red really good enough for us to play? We could easily be playing green as well, or instead, like if it can give us ramp or fixing or whatever that we want instead. Yeah, so there's that. We lose a Ral Zarek, a Steam Augury, and a Firestorm, which isn't really like a big loss. We could also just stay on this path. I think we're just going to see. Right now, blue doesn't look like it's open at all, so we'll keep that in mind too. So let's take Chainer's Edict, because we know it's in black, and we know it's going to make the cut kind of either way. Hypnotic Spectre, Preordain Looter il-Kor. Now, one thing about Looter il-Kor you'll notice is that you get to draw and discard. So if you slam it on turn 2, not only is it helping you dig for the piece that you need, like the Diabolic Servitude, you're also getting rid of your fatties. So Looter's actually really good in this deck, though. Now we've got other options too. I mean, we could take an Explore, like if we wanted to veer over a little bit. I'll probably just take Looter il-Kor here, though. We don't have blue doesn't have to be like our main color. It can just be sort of part of what we're running. All right, there's Maze of Ith, a card I like quite a bit. There's also Into the Royal, another card I like a lot, and then Solemn Simulacrum I like too. But I'll take the Maze here. It doesn't really count as a land, but it does good work. Here's Putrid Imp, and here is Sneak Attack. So these are actually both interesting. I mean, you can Sneak Attack in Griselbrand and kind of get them. Putrid Imp's a discard, though, a really good discard outlet in the sense that it only costs 1 black mana. It's not a very good card on its own, though. Like, it doesn't really do much. I'm going to take the Sneak Attack, but right now the targets we have for Sneak Attack really aren't good enough, so we're going to have to kind of improve on that. Izzet Charm seems good. Okay, so we got Kozilek back, and now our Sneak Attack looks way better. So let's get that guy in the deck here. That's awesome. Yeah, now we can really try to get somewhere with some sneaking and attacking. I mean, a 12/12 Annihilator 4 with haste is what you get out of the deal, and that's often enough to just seal the win. Gamble? Probably gambling. I'm going to gamble. So, Blightning. Does Lion's Eye Diamond do what we want? No, not really. Thunderscape Battle Mage, we can make target player discard 2 cards for 5 mana. I think I can just get the same job done with the Blightning. Alright, this came back, so that's nice. I want that. Got kind of an interesting side deck built here. Goblin Guide into Sneak Attack is kind of funny, but also not very good. Yeah, but picking up that Graven Cairns was nice. Gives us access to a bunch of red mana. Basically, we're trying to be base black and then have some red and some blue sort of where needed. All right, what do we have here? Well, there's some traps here, I think. We're probably just going to take this Grim Monolith and just sort of keep it simple. There's some interesting things we could do with this pack, but nothing really great. Buried Alive, I think, is kind of a trap. It does get you the creatures in your graveyard, but it's a sorcery that costs 3 mana, doesn't affect the board, doesn't do anything else. All it does is going to get you those creatures in your yard, and you still have to do the work to get it. I like to, you know, at least try to play something that I can get some value out of, like maybe Liliana of the Veil, right, where you're discarding and they're discarding. It's not just like you're playing an entire card just to get some guys in your yard. Entomb's a little different because it's instant and it's so cheap, but Buried Alive, yeah, not that great. Grim Monolith, though, it's just raw power. I mean, that's all this really is. So we're going to take it here. Dimir Aqueduct might come back. If it does, that can be interesting. You can be on the draw, play it, and discard sort of as a matter of course. And that's kind of sweet. Pristine Talisman, Mindstone, Aetherling, Braids. There's also a Capsize here. I feel like just taking more mana ramp here, like a Mind Stone or a Pristine Talisman. They're kind of close. Generally, I think Mind Stone's better. It's cheaper. I'm going to take it here. I mean, I might regret not having the mana ramp. Mirari's Wake makes me sad, but obviously we're the opposite. We're playing everything that's not in those colors. Yeah, I'll take the Mind Stone. All right, here is a Necromancy and a Makeshift Mannequin. Actually, there's just a ton of good stuff for us here. There's also a Tar Pit and a Scalding Tarn, but I think we want to take one of these, and I'm going to take the Necromancy. It's a mana cheaper than Mannequin, and while Mannequin's instant speed, which lets us get Kozilek back, sort of, you can also Necromancy at instant speed if you need to. And Makeshift Mannequin, I mean, if you Necromancy back Griselbrand, they're in huge, huge trouble. If you Makeshift Mannequin it back, sometimes they just can target it with something, get it off the table, and you're still in a sketchy spot. I mean, you get to draw a bunch of cards. Don't get me wrong. It's sweet, but yeah. All right. Ultimate price. What does the middle one on this do? Look at the top 3 cards. Target player's library. Put 1 back and the rest. Wow. I can actually just... That's interesting. I could potentially just put one of my fatties in the yard, though it needs to be in the top 3, which is a little awkward. Deep Analysis and Sign in Blood are kind of the 2 that I'm really looking at here. We could also take a Dismiss. I kind of like Deep Analysis here, though. This is actually not an easy decision. I think I'm going to take Deep Analysis. I'm hoping that we find at least one other way to discard some stuff. Oh, baby. Yes. Let's just get big. Like a little Ulamog action here. If I knew I was going to Ulamog, I probably would have taken the Makeshift Mannequin. It's probably important enough. I think I'm going to take Opposition. I mean, Dreadbore, maybe that's better here. Opposition's harder for us to cast because it's blue. I could just take Nicol Bolas. Maybe I'll just take Nicol Bolas. We have quite a bit of mana ramping here anyway. Yeah, I'll just take Nicol Bolas. Let's just make this the dumbest big deck ever. I'm going to take Sulfur Falls. We could take Lake of the Dead and try to just like power out a Griselbrand, but I think I like just the normal mana fixing there a little better. Yeah, Opposition though, really sweet, but and we do have like some interactions here, like Bitterblossom Opposition is pretty unbeatable, but we don't really have quite enough. You know, like our actual creatures, we're not making a bunch of tokens or anything like that. I like Spellskite. I don't love Knight of Infamy in a deck like this. I don't like Rakdos Carnarium normally, but it might actually be good here. It's more mana fixing for our kind of rough mana deck. It's not great. And also, it does give us the opportunity to discard our Griselbrand potentially with the right draw. That said, Spellskite is good on defense and protects our huge stuff. So I'm gonna keep it simple here and go with the less risk Spellskite plan. I am gonna pick up this Dimir Aqueduct, and we are gonna run it though. That one I'm not gonna give up on. No, probably not gonna play this in the main. To Desperate Ravings. It does let you discard, though it can get awkward. I think I'm going to take it. Alright, here's this Dimir Charm back. Yeah, I like it over Burst Lightning. They have similar roles, but Dimir Charm can just do a lot more for us. Graveborn Muse can draw us a ton of cards, but our life total is going to get just destroyed by our own deck here. Otherwise, I can take Depths. Yeah, I guess I'll give us a little more card draw. I wonder if we even run that. This thing. It kind of screws us over. Because the thing is, our deck actually does have enough ramp to sometimes be able to cast these huge creatures at the top end. Which is kind of awesome. Alright, so let's see what we're really looking at here. There's 30 cards here. Nice curve. I don't think we want to be doing that. And then as far as real targets to get back, at least with Diabolic Servitude, we don't have that many. We've got Griselbrand is, of course, our main one. Like, that's the one we're going to be searching up with Demonic Tutor or whatever. But I like the sneak attack that we grabbed, because if we do get stranded with a few of these in hand, at least we have an out. And then this could also be an out potentially, and so could this. We have all these funny ways to get stuff out of our hand. This is going to be weird, but I think it's going to be awesome. Of course, we have Looter as well. Ral Zarek, when you have Thran Dynamo and Grim Monolith, is insane. So check this out. Tap target permanent, then untap another target permanent. So you tap there, whatever. You tap this for 3. You untap it again, and you've made 6 mana off of just these 2-card combo. This is the exact same. Hell with paying 4 colorless to untap this thing. You just use Ral Zarek. And I mean, once you start doing that, these guys become in range way quicker than you'd think. Very, very quickly. All right, I think I ditched Student here. Double blue is something that I think we can just do without in this deck in general. I feel like Graveborn Muse probably should go. Steam Augury should go. It's just that's never going to really work out the way we want to, I don't think. And with Firestorm, I think we will have enough ways to get rid of some cards and not feel too bad about it. That means Desperate Ravings can probably go as well. I like a Chainer's Edict. I like the Deep Analysis here. Oh, Disc can get out of here. I told you guys how I felt about that. Not a big fan. Gamble's interesting. I'm thinking that we don't. I think this is what our deck looks like. Actually, wait, but this doesn't work because we also have Maze of Ith. We can also bring Maze of Ith out of the sideboard. It's not always good. It's usually good, though. It's particularly good against equipment-based decks or decks that are trying to do kind of what we're trying to do, where they power out something huge. But I think we can start with it in the board, and we'll bring it in. So let's run these lands, and then let's see what we're looking at here as far as our mana base goes. All right, so Magic Online says we should do 6 swamps, 4. Let's just add these and see what this gets us. I like to do this by trial and error. I can't keep it all in my head. So early on we want black, right? Chainer's Edict to get rid of something. Bitterblossom turn 2. Tutor is often we can turn to it and not really have a big issue with it. I guess Izzet Charm's a card that we can also use to discard. So we've got actually quite a few here. This gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish, 9. That gives us 10 black mana sources, which is plenty. And then for blue out of this build, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We get 8 blue, which is great. I mean, we don't even need that many. How many red does that leave us with, though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I think we need one more mountain here. I think this is correct. That gives us 7 and 6 plus the 10 blue. So our mana actually ended up being quite good here. All right, let's submit this thing. I'll submit this thing, and then we'll see what this deck can do.